Every year we have a guy who just makes a leap, and it's usually a young guy, and it's usually somebody under maybe 26. And you're like, wow, I didn't realize this guy was going to be this good. This guy is clearly the guy this year. And now, of course, I have Knicks fans in my life being like, oh, we just got to, same Mitchell thing. We got to, to me, he's an untradeable. Do you have him? Let's start there. Do you have him as an untradeable at this point?
I agree. I don't understand the trade rumors, really. I feel like it's wish casting from Knicks fans. It's wish casting from Raptors fans. Any other fan base that wants this dude, he's absolutely unguardable. I mean, you cited it last night against the Celtics. They're throwing some of the best individual defenders in basketball at him: Grant Williams, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. It didn't matter.
Al Horford, they threw some Al Horford at him. They tried 6 guys on him.
Sure. Sam Hauser did block his shot. Want to get that on the record. Incredible play. But no, 31 and a half points, 6 assists, 5 boards, whatever it is, 6th in PER. The numbers kind of speak. It's more about just watching him play, watching how fluid he is getting to the rim. Averaging 17.1 points in the paint, which is 3rd behind only Giannis and Zion, and
Jesus,
more than Ja Morant, who had the most points in the averaged most points in the paint for a guard in 25 years since they started basically recording the statistics. So he's just he's incredible. He can do everything with both hands. Drives left more than he drives right. I love watching him play. He has everything in the bag. It's amazing to watch.
It's so funny for me because the Clippers had him as a rookie. And I went to some of those games, and he clearly had it. Like, it was like, this guy's going to be good. He's definitely a starting guard, maybe an all-star. Like, that could be the ceiling. He'd have some games where he just sucked. Then he'd have some other games where like, oh, this guy. And when they threw him in the Paul George trade, which I think they had to, I don't think OKC is doing that trade otherwise, but I remember doing pods at the time being like, yeah, I know that was a shitload of picks, but I'm telling you, like, I just think the Clippers should have figured out a way to keep him, because everything they're trying to do, this is like the guy you need with those 2 guys, potentially. I never thought he was going to be this good, but I also, Presti's like, hey, if you want Paul George, I need that guy and I need some picks. But I think SGA was the key to the trade. I never in a million years in that first Clipper year thought that he was be as good as the guy these first 13 games. It just didn't seem like he had the offense. And I think what's been stunning to me is he's got this weird herky-jerky thing where it's like, he's not one of those like Ja's like, I'm going to beat you down. I'm going to do some stuff and I'm going to go by you. Shai, like, you don't even really know he's going by you until he already went by you. You think like he's setting up or he's waiting for a pick to come over, and he's moving at this weird speed. And then all of a sudden he's just by people, can finish with either hand. And I think he's the quirkiest offensive player in the league. Could you come up with a quirkier offense than him?
He's very idiosyncratic.
Good word.
I would say that, when I wrote the small sample size theater, he was my most improved player, obviously. And I wrote in there that trying to guard him when he drives the basketball is like sipping an open mug of coffee in rush hour traffic.
Right.
It's just like, he's as you said, he's herky-jerky. The hesitation moves are there. I found that when he picks up his dribble in the paint, that's when he does the most damage. He just pivots through until he finds this little window, this little crease to get his shot off or find an open shooter on the perimeter. He's just amazing. And he's so patient, and his decision-making is so intelligent and advanced. And I think that you really hit the nail on the head at the beginning when you talked about how he's not abandoned, but he doesn't need the 3-point line to just average over 30, which is kind of remarkable. And I don't know anyone else who really does that beyond like DeMar DeRozan last season, who didn't even average 30. If you look at his 3-point rate 2 years ago, it was 30. 3-point rate 2 years ago, or last season, I should say, was 28. And this year it's 13. So that slide is, I don't even know how to, like, it's absolutely amazing. And the fact that he's shooting 50% from the mid-range, 72% in the restricted area, just such a talent.
They doubled him a few times last night. And I was watching it going, damn, that's like the ultimate sign of respect from the Celtics, because they really pride themselves. Like, if they're doubling you, you're like Giannis, basically. And then Scalabrine said it on the broadcast. He's like, man, they're doubling Shai. So he thought the same thing. To me, that's like when you're shifting the game where the entire defense is so worried about you, they're either sending the second guy at you. That's the level I want you to be at offensively. And conversely, if you're not getting treated like that, I always wonder how good you are. You know, where it's like, oh, this guy's getting his points. But yeah, when I watch the games, they don't seem that worried about him. Like they're happy to go have just one-on-one, and they'll shade a little bit, but not really. He was getting treated completely different. Part of that is his team's not great. But, you know, for the Celtics to concede, like, we need multiple guys on this one, I thought was kind of a last video game level for him. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I think early in the game, you know, you load up to stop him because he's the entire scouting report, right? Like everyone knows what he wants to do. He wants to go downhill. He wants to get into the paint. And the Celtics load up behind him. They pack the paint, and he just finds Jalen Williams, who hits a couple threes. He finds Lou Dort, who hits a three. I think Poku hit a corner three. And then as the game goes on, you know, Celtics defenders are, you know, drifting a little bit more towards the perimeter and respecting those shots and contesting those shots. And then that's when it opens up for Shai. So he's just really smart with how he paces himself and paces the game. And I mean, I don't know, to your original question, I don't know why the Oklahoma City Thunder would ever trade this guy.
It's not happening. The other thing is, I look at like the arc, like the usual arc for the young guy is, he's usually a high lottery pick. They go to a shitty team, like what Jalen Green's going through right now in Houston, right? Lottery pick. It's going to be a bad team last year. This year's team's going to be bad. Maybe by year 4, year 5, it'll be a good team. Shai starts out, he's on the Clippers. They win 48 games. He's playing in the playoffs. He's playing 29 minutes a game for them. And that team was like, they were in a playoff series with the Warriors. That's a really nice rookie experience. Got Doc Rivers as a coach. Then goes to OKC in the trade and gets to play with was Chris on
Paul.
that team at that point? Yeah.
Chris Paul and Dennis Schroeder.
Was, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That was the team when they would go the 3-guard offense.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets to go to Chris Paul graduate school for a year and learn whatever tricks you're going to learn from Chris Paul, right? You could have gone with like what happened to Oladipo. You go to OKC and, here's your new teammate, Russell Westbrook. Stand over there. Russ is going to shoot 30 times. Your job is to just stand there and pretend you're going to shoot. Instead, he goes to this team that was another really fun team. They made the playoffs. They played a 7-game series against Houston. So those are his first 2 years. And then the next 2 are just tankapalooza. And now we're in this weird, I don't know what this team is. Like, are they going to tank? Are they not going to tank? But he's almost too good to tank. So I don't know what they do. They're a 500 team and they hang in all these games. And I don't know what you would do. Like they said, Holmgren's out for the year. Like now I'm looking at this going, is he? What if he's ready in February? What if you're a 500 team with a chance to make a play-in game? You have all these picks anyway. Like maybe you say, fuck it. I don't know.
The case for trading him is, which I want to be adamant I would not do, is let's say you trade him to a team like the Knicks and you just take basically everything that the Knicks have.
Yeah.
And you have the Knicks first round pick unprotected this year. You have your own unprotected first round pick as the Thunder this year.
And you've just mutilated yourself if you trade SGA. So now that's
Correct.
a top 5 pick.
Exactly. And the Thunder are terrible this season when SGA is on the bench, we should mention. So you are really dramatically increasing your odds to get one of the great prizes in the history of the lottery. So that's the argument for trading him, but I don't even think twice about it. He's just such a special player, and it's kind of like when you do get really talented lottery picks, Chet next year is going to be hopefully healthy and able to play. You want guys like Shai around them so that you can just be good right away. And I think that this team can make a leap sooner rather than later, even though they're very young.
Well, and they have cap space and they have a ton of picks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say keep them.